Hi, I'm Jake Stevenson, and this is Science with Jake. And today we're going to be learning about how early people have used diverse tools and technologies to affect and change their environments over time. Okay, let's get started. Early hunter-foragers are the first examples of humans adapting to their environment in order to survive. Until about 12,000 to 11,000 years ago, when agriculture and animal domestication emerged in Mesoamerica and Southwest Asia, all peoples were hunters and gatherers. Much of what we know about hunter-gatherer societies is based on what we have observed from recent hunter-gatherer societies, such as that of the Kalahari Bushmen of the Kalahari Desert of Africa, the Spinifex people of the Great Victoria Desert in Australia, the Sentinelese of the Andaman Islands, the Paraha of the Masi River in the Amazon, and the Batak of the northern Palawan in western Philippines. Through this observation, it has become widely accepted that early hunter-gatherer societies were mostly semi or fully nomadic, lived in small communities or with low population density, had little or no political officials governing them, had little wealth differentiation, were economically specialized only by age and gender, with labor divided by gender, commonly with women gathering wild plants and men fishing, and almost always doing the hunting. Hunter-foragers had multiple different techniques to collect food, including hunting and trapping large and small game, fishing, collecting shellfish or insects, and gathering wild plants such as fruits, vegetables, tubers, seeds, and nuts. These techniques were sufficient for early humans, but did limit in what they could accomplish. Most hunter-gatherers were nomadic. Permanent villages or towns were only where there were unusually abundant supplies, such as that of the case of the Native Americans of the Pacific Northwest, who had acorns and salmon, which allowed for them to gain larger group population densities. As early human populations rose, hunter-gatherer techniques became unsustainable, and farming methods began to emerge. Pastoral nomadic groups emerged. However, their failure to leave written records or leave abundant physical traces of archaeological evidence has made their life poorly documented compared to that of sedentists. And as such, we are made to rely on that scant archaeological remains and written records of the sedentists about nomadic groups. Large climatic shifts at the end of the Ice Age prompted many big game animals to migrate to northern areas' pasture lands. Early humans began to rely on these animals and would move from place to place with their livestock rather than try to hunt it down. This left them as nomadic and often had small numbers in order to make movements easier. Nomadic pastoralists were often organized in tribes claiming descent from a common ancestor. These lineages did not have to be literal and were more so a way of maintaining tribal collaboration. Nomads and sedentists did have communication and outbreaks of hostility between the two. Sedentists did not require nomads' products as much as the nomads required the grain of sedentists. However, the nomads' mobility had a clear military advantage. Pastoral nomads' raids against other tribes and nearby sedentists is well attested in the historical records of nearby eastern records, such as that of
the Mongols.
Along with nomadic pastoralists, early humans began to domesticate crops and animals and settled in the region known as the Fertile Crescent, along the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. This region has been known to be the principal center for the emergence of agriculture, villages, and cities, and hence the cradle of civilization. By 3500 BC, early agricultural peoples were able to give rise to sufficient numbers of non-cultivating specialists using agriculture and early agricultural technologies, such as irrigation, to give rise to the first civilizations, like the Mesopotamians. Within this arc are found some of the earliest examples of domesticated founder crops, such as barley, emmer wheat, einkorn wheat, peas, chickpeas, lentils, blittervetch, and flax, along with domesticated animals such as goats, sheep, pigs, and cattle. The Fertile Crescent's central role has been popularized by geographer and physiologist Jared Diamond in Guns, Germs, and Steel, where he advocates the significance of the specific Mediterranean climate that allows for the major plants and animals to be behaviorally predisposed to domestication found within the parts of this arc. Humans from this point of agricultural revolution would later develop to create sprawling metropolises, advanced methods of travel, and the largest success of population growth that the human race has ever seen. A success which has continued till today, nearly 7,000 years later, with little sign of decline. For next time's episode, me and Max Bruchowski will probably show you how to build something. I don't really know yet,